Hello to everyone. Today we're going to be going through a list of portal rules and objects that you can use in your sessions to make them more interactive and get AI trains going here, there and everywhere. So hopefully, let me just turn that off. Here we go. Back to trains. Sorry about that. Today we're going to go through the portals and a list of there's a few different portals that you could use to use in your routes. You can get the basic ones inside Trainz. So Trainz comes with portal under objects and also portal basic, which we'll go through. A few other ones there, but a lot of them are very similar, so there's not a great deal of difference between them. So we'll just touch on portal and portal basic from the N3V range, and you can also go into Content Manager, and on the download station you'll be able to find ones like Central. Actually, I've installed this one, Central Portal Control, which I've installed from the download station, and also unportal. There's unportal and unportal 2. I've just grabbed number 2 by Tram there, and there's a couple of little updates on it. So that one we're going to be using as well. So we'll go through the 4 of them today and explain what each of them do. So let me just close down Trainz content. Right. First you get your portal, and you can drop it in. It's under the Objects tab. I've already mentioned that, but I just thought I'd tell you again. And we'll rotate it around to get the facing we want, and connect some track up to it. And we'll just make it a straight line. And then we will make it come out. We will connect up another portal, type of portal. This will be portal basic, and we just connect it up there as well. So we spin that one around, and the difference obviously visually is this one doesn't have a tunnel on the top of it, but there's other than that there's not too much difference between portal and portal basic. It's just that you might want the big tunnel on top. That thing, that's what I'm talking about. So you might have a need for that. Right, so that's our portal, our built-in portals laid down. Obviously you're going to have a better layout than this, but this is being used for simplicity. So we go ahead and we click on the Objects tab, and we hit the Edit Properties ? We select our portal. It gives us a couple of options here. One says, one we probably want to change the name of it. So portal, we'll call this portal A, and it's going to produce trains. So we click the little produce new trains box, and it produces trains every, let's say it'll produce it every minute. So we put 1, and one of the following consists is chosen for production at random. So then we go add new consist, which could be just a train if you want, but the options are you can select this little plus button, and it goes through and gives you the whole list of installed train cars. And you can also go down to here and go add an existing saved consist, which is a whole train that you may have saved, and we'll probably do that because it's a lot easier. And we'll just click this guy, and there's not much going on in that consist, but it's added 3 of the locos for us. But you can add them individually if you want, but I'm just going to do that. Add the driver. We'll add a dare to that one, and we will tell him, so this one was portal A. We'll just close that down for a sec. We'll rename this one, ? Edit the properties. We'll make this one portal B, and we're going to say it consumes trains, and it can also produce trains as you want, but as we're using just one line, I'm just going to make one in and one out. So we consume the trains. It's any trains, or you can make specific trains that get consumed by it. You don't have to have any trains. and we'll just go with that. So that one's going to consume our trains. This one's going to produce our trains. We named that one. It also shows up here. Yep, portal B. This one's portal A. So what we'll do is we will tell this guy, Adair, when he spawns. Come on, Adair. No. Sorry, go into your rules at the top here because you'll want to enable some driver commands. And one that we will enable is drive to. Tick that one on so you can give that driver that particular command. So again, open this up. Give him a command called drive to portal B, because that's the one up the other end. And that's it. That train will now spawn every minute and head to that other portal. So we'll just test that out. Okay. Nothing happening so far. We'll hold down the shift key to speed things up. There he is. That was obviously a minute. And if one train sits at the portal entrance, it's not going to spawn another one. It's only when it's got enough room to clear that it will. So up here we can see it's now 2 minutes time. It should have spawned one because it's every minute, but it hasn't. So that obviously didn't give it enough time to clear. Oh, I lie. There you go. Just enough time. So it spawned another one. He's going off to that portal. And once he gets there, he's going to be eaten up and removed. I lied. Why isn't he being eaten up and removed? Maybe I've set something wrong. Oh, he's waiting. Alright, let's go see. Exit out. Okay. We have this guy's producing trains every minute. It's one of the trains. He's driving to portal B. Yes. Correct. And this is portal B. It consumes all trains. That should have worked. It obviously hasn't. Let's add another train in here. Here's what you can also do is you can add multiple trains. We'll add another consist. And a driver. And tell him to drive to portal B. We navigate to portal B maybe. Let's try that. Maybe he gets there and he stops. Let's see. So they're going to portal B. Oh, and we've added a couple in there now. So it's going to randomly choose between those two consists on which one to spawn. Save that. Speed things up. So it's spawned our passenger consist. He's on his way to portal B. That's the command we've given him. And he's been consumed. So there you go. Navigate to seems to be a better command than drive to. He's been spawned and he's waiting for the other one to go. And that one's going to keep going around and around. He'll get consumed. And so on and so forth. So that's using our portal basics, which are part of the Trainz install. So what we'll do now is we'll jump out and we'll go and try a central portal control, which is one of the ones that I would have downloaded from Trainz content or the DLS. And what we'll do is we'll lay down some more track. Put that one there. And we'll get another portal going. And we'll use a couple of portal basics. Portal basics short. Spinning around. Another one down here. Connect them up. There we go, let's rename them. This one we'll call Portal C, and it will produce trains every minute. And we will add a consist, and we'll just add a passenger. Oh, actually, no, sorry, we're not going to use this method. We're going to show you what one of the rules do. So we'll leave that as is. It consumes trains. Yeah, done. So that's Portal C. This is Portal D. So now we're using C and D. And what we can do is we can go in here and we can say central portal control, which is the rule we downloaded online through the DLS on Trainz content. And we go edit that, and it says add portal. And we'll add portal C. Comes index 0. 0 trains are being spawned at the moment. We click on portal C. It says time between spawns. I'm going to put it as 1 minute. The time fluctuation, so the variation between that, away from that minute, I'm going to put 0 because I want it to spawn on the minute. Does the very first train spawn immediately? I'm going to say no, I want it to wait for the minute. Order to emit trains randomly or sequentially, I'm going to say randomly. And wait for trigger event, we'll use that one later on. So we add our consist again, add a passenger consist, and we add our driver. We tell our driver to navigate to portal D. We can add more consists if we want, but we'll leave it like that for now. We can jump back and forth between those two options at the top there, properties and general properties. And that's now using the central portal control. So we haven't edited the properties on the portal itself. We've actually used a rule instead of that. So let's see if that works. Basically doing exactly the same functionality, but it's using the rule now. It's not using the edit property function. And I'll show you soon why we're actually going to use that rule, because we'll get a little bit more advanced functionality from it soon. So I'm speeding up time here, and they should spawn roughly around the same time. And they have. And then it's going to drive off and get consumed by the portal. There we go. So that's using a rule. C and D are using a rule at the moment. A and B are using the edit properties functionality. So then we come back in here, and if we now want to extend on this rule, the central portal control, you can see that there was a wait for trigger event here. Now, what we can do with that is we can turn that on, because it'll say yes, we want to wait for a trigger event before we spawn. And we add, actually let's add a trigger first. So we're going to put a trigger in the middle here. put our trigger, and we're going to go trigger A. Give it some kind of meaning if you're doing this in your own routes, so you don't forget what's what. And then we go and add our CPC Emit Train On Trigger, and we go use portal index 0. So if we go back into here, you'll see that its index is 0. And bear in mind that if you've got many of these portals around, it doesn't matter if you've got 10 of them, all of them are going to get spawned at once. So you've got to be careful what indexes you're using, because it just kind of does a blast out to all of them. So if you've got multiple central portal controls or unportals, they're all going to get told when this triggers to all spawn at once. So you might want to think about how you set that up. So for now, we're going to use index 0. It's not an unportal, but we'll show you one of those soon. Delay from trigger to emit 0 seconds, so we don't want to delay. And then we add our trigger, which is trigger A. Done. So this central portal control will bump the time up so it doesn't spawn every 1 minute. It'll spawn every 20 minutes, or if it gets told to by the trigger. So emit, no, we don't want that. Random, yeah, cool. And it's wait for a trigger event, yes. Okay, so it's going to spawn every 20 minutes or when this trigger gets fired. We've set that up now. So the train should come past, hit the trigger, and one should spawn out straight away. It shouldn't wait 20 minutes. You can do this functionality with unportals as well. So we'll have to show that in a sec. So we speed things up. This one should spawn, and this one shouldn't, because this is 20 minutes. This is 1 minute. It's coming along. It should hit the trigger, and then something should spawn here. Yep. There you go. So every time that now hits that, you'll see another train get spawned here. And that's because this is actually index 0 for that rule. But if we had a bunch of these as index 0, they would all spawn at the same time. So keep that in mind, that it does a blast or a broadcast out to all of your particular rules that you've set up to spawn. So if you're going to use triggers, make sure you use them in a clever way, and it doesn't just keep spawning heaps and heaps of trains for you on the trigger hit. Okay, the next one is an unportal, and these two have a purpose. So this one's using the built-in functionality. You go question mark edit the portal. This one's using a rule, which has a little bit more flexibility. And then this one is also going to use a rule, but the difference between the ones I just showed you and this one is that you can put down track markers. So you don't always have to have them connected to track. For example, if you don't want to edit your track, or you're using someone else's route and you just want to create a session, you can go ahead and you can put a track marker down. We'll call this track marker A, or in. Make sure it's facing the right way. So it's going that way. Yep. And this will be called track marker out. And this one doesn't have to be facing the right way unless you're planning on spawning things from it. So if you wanted to spawn things, you might want to turn around. Now, the other thing to remember with unportal is you need to have your track marker give enough space for the entire train you plan on spawning. Otherwise, it'll throw an error. So you want to give it a fair bit of space. I don't plan on having a train any longer than that, I don't think. So when it spawns, it'll have enough room to spawn the entire train. So we're now using track markers instead of track to spawn our objects, and we're going to add an unportal to rule, and this you can get from the download station. So we edit that rule, same as the central portal control. We just add our track mark. So we want track mark in. It'll only list track marks, this particular rule. We then click on our track mark in, and we get the same functionality. So we're going to spawn every minute. We haven't got a variation between before or after that minute. We're going to spawn on the minute, not a few seconds or a few minutes after or before. The direction is relative to the track marker, so we're going forward. It doesn't consume trains. Make sure you have one that make sure you're not consuming where you're spawning, otherwise they will not spawn. So if you're planning on spitting trains out at this particular track mark, do not consume them at that track mark as well, otherwise you won't see anything happening. We don't want it to emit immediately. If we turn this on, this means that as soon as the game starts, a train will be emitted regardless of the timing that you want them to come out. It'll just say, I will spawn one straight away. So I don't want one to be spawned straight away. The order to emit trains is random, and we won't use the trigger yet. So I'll add a consist, I'll add a freight consist, and a driver, and I'll tell them to drive via track marker out, and I'll add another consist, and I'll tell them to drive via track mark out. So I've got two consists that could actually spawn. It's going to be random, not sequential. And we'll give that a go. So now this is spawning via track markers. Hopefully I've given it enough space from my track marker in to the end of the line. We'll find out in a sec. So we speed time up. Should see one spawn in a minute here and head towards the out track marker. These ones are working. This one is not working. So why is that? Let's duck and have a look and see what's happening. It should have worked. That's our track marker. My only guess is that we have too many. Oh yeah, we do. We have way too many on here. Let's delete this train and go with a smaller train. We'll add another one just to show that it actually does work. We'll add a passenger train. Should be okay. Just get rid of a few just to shrink it a bit. Obviously you wouldn't have this problem if you had a proper route, but we're just demoing with this small little baseboard. Okay, now there's two still in there. Hopefully they're doing the right thing now. And in a minute, we should see them spawn out of here randomly. Could be any of those consists we added. It's still not happy. Okay. Track marker in. It certainly should be doing what I'm telling it to. Okay, let's have another look. We have two trains. Oh, that is portal index 0. I'm wondering if that's affecting it because we have... Oh no, because we've turned it wait for trigger event off, so it shouldn't be affecting it. Emitting random. Immediately, don't consume. I doubt the fluctuation time matters. I'm just going to put it in just to test. We'll get it emit immediately just to test that out. And then we will also add our out portal because we do want it to consume trains, and that's all you need to do there. Just hit consume trains. You don't add any consists, so it won't produce any. So we'll save that. See what happens now. Okay. Oh, it's emitted one immediately, which is good. So the immediate worked. And then it should get to there and go. So it's working now. I doubt having it on for immediately worked. Maybe the timer frequency needs to be on. Let me just check on that. I'd like to get to the bottom of why it wasn't working before. So I'm going to turn off spawn immediately and leave 1 minute on the fluctuation timer. So in 1 minute's time, give or take, they should spawn one here. Okay, that's very strange that you do need to have spawn immediately on, otherwise it doesn't start spawning. Okay, well we'll look into that to find out what's going on there. Some trains spawned a bit too early there. Oops. So bear in mind that that could be the case. Let me just double check on one that I did earlier just for a bit of a trial run. Where did I put it? Let's go exit surveyor, edit our test here, and these ones have portals on them, and the portal is portal S, I named it. We go into our unportal. That should be in our session, sorry. I've edited the route, but I need to edit the session. Go into here. Edit the session. And immediately, so no, I'm not. Immediately, emit immediately, no. Trigger, yes. Trigger, no. Let's turn that off. Put this at 1 minute. And that should be fine. Okay, let's give that one a whirl. Sorry about this. I just wanted to double check that it might be an error in the functionality of the portal itself, which we'll look into if it is. So this one every minute should spawn. Yeah, okay. So I guess there's something going on there. We'll look into that. Okay, for now, just emit immediately, and that should get your portal going. So we get out of that one. And we go into view sessions, edit our session, and we will now finish the tutorial by showing you that this one here has a index of 0. So what we'll do there is we'll jump in here and we'll say wait for trigger event CPC Emit Train, and we'll turn that on. So remember that the trigger here was using portal index CPC 0, which meant our central control portal C was getting emitted when the trigger got hit, but also now unportal, which has 0 index, will be used as well. So what you'll find is if we set this a little bit higher at 20, and we then just double check, this one's set at 20, yeah, so they're pretty high, those two there. So when this trigger gets hit, you know it's the trigger spawning it and nothing else. So they'll end up spawning together, like I was saying before. Make sure that you get your indexes right and you use the correct amount of unportal and central control essential portal controls where you want them to be. Otherwise, everything's going to spawn at once if you're using the same indexes. So this one should spawn. You'll hit the trigger, and then both of these should now emit trains because they're both using index 0 on both those rules. So that one spawned. Of course. This one's not spawning because we're not, for some reason the rule isn't firing unless you emit it straight away. So let's do that. Edit this one into here, emit immediately. Still 20 minutes. It will emit every 20 minutes, but at least one will emit at the start to kind of get that rule going. Oh, well, could be wrong. Let's see what happens. No. Very strange. Was working happily before. Let's see. There's got to be an explanation to this, so we're going to extend our track out so there's plenty of room for things to excuse me, things to work correctly. We'll get our track marker and we will move it around here so there's plenty of room for things to spawn. Doesn't want to go any further than that. That's weird. Track marker in. You can delete track markers and rename them again, and they'll hold for all the other rules. Okay. Oh, right. Script error has occurred. Of course. Nothing's ever easy, hey? So that one's still okay. And that one's still okay. Right. Let's add this again. Unportal. Oh, there is a script error. They weren't lying. Something to do with our unportal. He's not going any further either. That script error has probably caused problems. So what I'll do is I will log out of here. Probably save that. Edit our session. And go back to our trigger, which I can hopefully move now. Yes, good. Still can't get any further back though. Let's clean this out because that's weird. Don't know what's going on with that. Delete our track. Start afresh. Okay, let's lay some track down. Set a few spline points. We can move the track back a bit. Get it back on the baseboard. There we go. Add our track markers. TM in. Which way is it facing? It's going that way. TM out. Doesn't really matter which way they're facing now because we're working in a circle or an oval kind of. Right. Got some weird bug where I cannot move my track markers, but okay, let's go with that. Unportal. Add. TM in. We want it to spawn every minute, and we'll have a variation of nothing or fluctuation. It does not consume. It produces immediately, and it will produce. It will produce a this consist, that consist, and that consist only. Let's give it Amy. Amy will then drive via track marker out, and everyone is happy. Then we add our track marker out as a consumable. It consumes trains. Done. Save that. And we test. So hopefully that's correct. I don't know what was different to when we tried it the first time, so unfortunately I can't tell you that. It's emitted immediately. That's good. Amy starts to go along. So that's still under a minute. You can see in our clock. And there's not enough room to spawn another one, I don't think. So then Amy gets consumed and another one spawns. So that was what was meant to happen previously. I don't know what I've done differently. But as you can see, these are using track markers. And Amy does look like she's going in that pool and coming out, but they are actually, funnily enough, taking a minute to get there and another minute. As soon as they get there, another one spits out. So this one's using a rule. This one's using the portals with the edit property, and this one's using a track marker. So that's using a track. Sorry, the first one's using a track. This one's using an object. This one's using a track marker. So there's several different ways you can actually get your trains spawning throughout the world and giving them commands and making it look like there's lots of traffic. It's as much as I've taken to do this tutorial, it is actually quite easy to do. And yeah, I urge you to go and grab those rules from the download station or start playing with the built-in portals because they're a bunch of fun once you see a lot of trains going around and you maybe make your own consists or you make your own particular trains and line them all up in those lists that you can pick from. And yeah, get a lot of AI happening on your routes to simulate what you want. So hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If there's anything that we've missed on portals, I apologize it took a little bit longer than I was thinking it would. But yeah, if there's anything else that you would like to see done with portals, please put it on the forums and we'll read it and we'll get back to you with more than likely a video. Cheers.